for now, we're going to move on briefly. Let's take you to the nation's capital on this Friday as the clock ticks down to 2026. Many people reflecting on the last year and how consequential it was in Canadian politics. U.S. President Donald Trump's trade war against Canada clearly impacted many sectors, some of them harder hit than others. Thousands of job losses coming as a result of the challenged economy. I want to bring it now to Lana Payne, who is the UNIFOR national president, to have a look back and maybe look ahead if we can too, Lana. But thanks for being here for this.
Thanks for having me.
I was reading it and going over it. It's been a very eventful year, I think, not just for you and your union and colleagues, but for many residents, many workers right across the country. The trade war does feel like the #1 issue, right? Whether it was, auto plants in southern Ontario, whether it was the forestry industry out west. Take me through just how difficult it has been for workers to navigate so much of the uncertainty that we saw when Donald Trump took office in January.
Yeah, 2025, no doubt, has been a year unlike any other. The chaos, the extortion, the confusion, the uncertainty that our economy faced, but in particular that workers and their families faced and are still facing, by the way, because this is going to bleed over into 2026. We've seen a very, very difficult time for working people in both the auto sector, the forestry sector, steel industry, of course, too, the aluminum industry, but really across the entire industrial economy. And there is still what I would describe as a lot of worry out there.
There's been a lot of labor unrest, too, right? And not necessarily just for your union, but we have seen across the country the number of strikes, the number of lockouts, whether it's been airline industries, again, otherwise, it's been very difficult, it feels like, for workers. Give me your analysis and your insight into how workers are being heard, if they are being listened to enough. But again, some of the challenges they are facing here at home with their own employers as we watch and continue to monitor closely what's happening south of the border.
Yeah, I mean, we've had and continue to have had conflict at the bargaining table, but also conflict based on what corporations are doing in terms of some of the decisions that they're making. We had an auto parts plant in Windsor where our members were locked out. The company moved equipment out of the plant in the middle of the night. We are still fighting on that picket line after over 130 days right now. We've seen governments, whether it's the government of Alberta, the government of Quebec, and the federal government use legislation to push back against working people and their unions at a time when unions are standing up for workers and their jobs. And I think that this is, a very difficult time from that perspective, that, unions and workers are not having to just fight to protect their own jobs, but fight their own governments in many cases in terms of what they've been implementing and some of the bad legislation that we've seen out there.
I'm curious your thoughts too. There have many people, and I want your reaction to, some of the people who would say that unions have too much power in regards, to protecting workers and to where it is, whether, again, it's UNIFOR, whether it's teachers unions or otherwise. How necessary do you believe unions still are in this day and age, and as we continue to see what's happening across the continent?
I think you only have to look back at this last year. Who's been out there fighting for workers every single day? It's been our union. It's been unions across the country saying we need to protect Canadian jobs. We need to protect industries. We need to make sure that we're protecting the industrial economy. We're the ones standing up for strong industrial strategies for our country. We're the ones that have been propositional about how we can build a more resilient Canadian economy that puts workers at the focus of that. And the reality is we still have many challenges. The world is still a very unequal place, and unions spend a lot of their time trying to change that, trying to confront power so that there's more equality in the world and in our communities. And of course, there's what we do in the community. We fight for workers in the workplace, but we also are great contributors to what it is that we need to see in our communities outside of the strong public sector jobs that need to be there and the services for workers and for the entire community. We do a lot of volunteer work. We are, out there in all of the ways we contribute to the democratic fabric of the country.
Lana Payne, UNIFOR National President, appreciate your time today. We'll talk to you in 2026.
Great. Thanks. Look forward to it. And happy holidays.